Hey, welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. We watched Raw so you didn't fucking have to, and my God, like this wasn't even a bad episode of Raw. It
No,
was just a wild episode of
no,
Raw.
this episode was fucking trash.
I didn't, I personally, because I know you're going by numbers for a lot of this.
That's not what I'm going by. If we're going by numbers, it's not horrible, but I think personally this was horrible. Except for the last 2 seconds when Nikki Cross won the title. It was like good for her. She.
Yeah, no, at that point I had given up on any semblance of like knowing what the fuck was going on. So she
Mm-hmm.
cashed in, and I was like, yeah, this may as well happen too. Um, I just feel like I walked in on like a massive like I feel like I walked into my kitchen, there was a massive party happening, and then I walked out and I still don't know why there's a party happening.
Feels like an office party where your
There was
boss
a
gets
lot of
super
shit
drunk.
happening. Yeah.
Um, they gave the reason I hate this episode is because they gave the biggest fuck you to NXT they could have
Yeah.
ever given. The most dominant NXT champion in history, who is 16-0 in singles. The past champions had not even come close to beating him. And he was rolled up in 1 minute and 41 seconds to Jeff Hardy, who has been consistently losing on main event. He lost to Bronson Reed.
I understand that you're mad about that. I personally think it's fucking hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious in the moment, but then I realized that that shows exactly what Vince thinks about NXT, and that will rub off on the viewers what they think of NXT, because none of them will come close to anyone on the main roster now. And they even had to justify it right before the match when they said Jeff Hardy in a triple threat won the WWE Championship.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is that like this I don't know, maybe like Trips did something shitty over the weekend or something because like not only did that happen to Carrion, but then Keith Lee got just absolutely fucking obliterated today.
Well, that was for the swerve of Goldberg.
Yeah, but like at the same time, it's like, okay, I just want Keith to come back and tell me where the fuck he's been.
But at least Keith had a longer match than Carrion. Like, I don't like Carrion. No one likes Carrion.
The
But
crowd certainly fucking didn't.
but they like doing that just dwarfs the NXT roster. Like, you can't call up anyone from NXT anymore and have them be impactful. Because you brought up the strongest guy in literally the history of NXT.
Mm,
I don't know who comes close. There might be
Keith.
other people. Keith wasn't undefeated. Carrion literally manhandled every single active past NXT champion.
But undefeated streaks don't mean anything, and they've proven that multiple times to the people that write the main rosters shit.
Yeah, but
So
that's the problem, that they didn't care about that. That's the
yeah, I'm
problem.
just saying that like it's not just Carrion though. I mean, this happened to Mansoor too.
But they also said on commentary that he is like the most dominant NXT champion.
Oh.
I mean, Carrion crushed Tommaso. He crushed Johnny. And then every other fucking NXT champion or all those other contenders. I know Vince didn't think about it, but that's the problem. And it's gonna make everyone else think that NXT is still developmental when it's not. And
I
it also goes hand in hand with the fact that they still use call up and brought down when they use those
yeah.
terms.
Yeah.
I'm just
I just
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like tonight's episode, the reason that it's so confusing for me, and I think you might understand this, is that we had like high points, and then immediately we were smacked in the face by low points. Like John was having fun, and then we had Riddle, and then um, Charlotte DQ'd the match, which was kind of stupid. But then Nikki cashed in, and like I laughed at Alexa Bliss today. Like
To be fair, I wouldn't say Riddle was the low point because that match
but,
was actually
no,
kind
what
of
I'm
fun.
saying, I'm not talking about the match.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying that Riddle coming out and just being put over by John Cena was like a
Hmm.
this is fucking stupid.
Well, you know what? At least they're trying to put over somebody, or somebody's trying to put over somebody, as opposed to just bringing out Goldberg for the 15th time. Sean
Man's got to
Ross
make a paycheck.
John Ross Sapp was he responded to somebody on Twitter who said that how else to get Bobby Lashley over than on the most over guy in the roster. He responded with, "Why not get some other guys over instead?" Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
They focus their efforts on certain people so intently that they forget everybody else.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. And the
I
crowd
don't
was
know.
fucking abysmal. They what chanted MVP.
Yeah, the what chant was used without discretion
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. At least the crowd was still against Jackson Riker.
Yeah, that's true. Hang on.
Like, I'll do this while you sneeze. Bless you. They have been trying everything in their power to bring in guys like Goldberg, who are already over with the crowds, but yeah, they're still trying to get people over like Riddle, like Jackson Riker, who's never gonna get over. Um,
People were booing him the moment they had that weird close up, and everything kind of got glitchy with the production.
mhm. um, but it's like you have so much star power, and you're so fucking blind to it. Like, work on getting Sheamus more over. Mansoor and Mustafa are incredible talent, and they're working so slow with them.
Yeah. What was the point of the promo today? I thought they were gonna tag later in the episode.
I thought so too. I thought they were gonna have a tag match.
I didn't remember until I saw Mariam's gifts of Mansoor. And that just dawned on me. I was like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
fuck. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah. At least they're pushing towards some story. But like AJ Styles, he has incredible star power, and he's having another rematch against the Viking Raiders next week. Like, fucking try. Meanwhile, you
I
have
know.
SmackDown that is effortlessly, like, it feels effortless when they put guys like Otis over. Like, he's getting over in no time. Fucking Cesaro took no time. Like, and then people coming back like Edge and John Cena. John Cena's been back for like a day, and it hasn't felt like the corniness of Goldberg coming back. Like, it feels motivated, it feels real, it feels fucking not like a cash grab.
You know, John seems to be like, I'm here. Hey guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know why? Because he's talking to the fans.
Yeah. And
He
John
doesn't have like a
Cena's
specific feud lined up. I mean, kind of Roman, but like he came to Raw. He was literally just there as a hype man,
well,
pretty
he
much.
he specifically said I'm after Roman. He talked
Yeah.
about how he's the most overhyped, overbooked wrestler.
But it was nice to have somebody talking to the crowd and appreciating the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that they didn't do that on SmackDown, but Raw didn't have that really,
Mm-hmm.
except for John.
And John Cena may have done all that, but he still got the what chant. They still what chanted it.
Why did they what chant John? Because they were into John. They were
Yeah.
like cheering with everything he fucking said, and then they started the what chants, and it's like, how did we get here?
Imagine
What was
those
the
what chants are
transition?
piped in. They're doing it so frequently that it feels like they're piped in. But I know they're not because I see people chanting that.
Well, no, but the thing is that if they're piped in,
It would encourage other people to do it.
other people would do it.
But it wouldn't make sense for them to pipe it in for John Cena.
It wouldn't.
It would make sense for
But
like
it doesn't make
Corbin.
sense for them to do it to John Cena anyways. So like,
I don't know. I think
Mamma mia.
WWE encouraging them to do it in the first place was fucking insane. No, literally nobody likes the wet chants. Wrestlers don't like it. Fans don't like it. Like, well, there's no point. Anyway, we have news to get to before we talk about the episode in detail.
Yes. Let me pull up the news. Also, I feel like I'm dying tonight, everybody. I hope you understand.
Mm-hmm.
I finally am going to drink one of my ginger beers, though. Which is not actually beer. In case anybody was wondering why do you feel like you're dying and drinking beer at the same time. But I bought these little bastards and I never fucking drank them.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, news. Shockingly, not a fuck ton of news. Not by like a long shot. Yeah, we've got 3 pieces of news tonight. That's it. So.
Okay.
So the first thing we'll talk about is Extreme Championship Wrestling. Has apparently okay. So Freedom Pro Wrestling, which is an indie in Minnesota, recently filed to trademark event names that were previously used by ECW, including Summer Sizzler and Three Way Dance.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both for entertainment services.
Right.
So that's just an interesting little thing that's happening. And no one can really understand what the fuck this means.
Hmm.
In addition to that, Naomi transferred brands overnight. She's on SmackDown now.
Good.
Thank God. Maybe we'll get her joining the Bloodline.
No.
I want it.
No. She's gonna be going for the SmackDown Women's title. Maybe she'll be a heel. That'd be pretty fun.
Well, yeah, but she could join the Bloodline as a heel.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't
And
know.
then feuds with Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Jay and Jimmy feud with the Street Profits. Perfect 3-way tag. Or 6-man tag.
I part of me just
I'm not responsible for that theory, though. I saw that earlier today. I don't know by who.
part of me just wants a storyline that's not revolving the bloodline. Like more different stuff.
That's all we got.
Oh, we had Sammy and Kevin. We have Corbin.
And now whatever the fuck Sammy and Finn's going to be.
I doubt that's gonna be a long-term thing.
Yeah, actually, I don't think it's going to be much of anything. But you know what that means? Finn.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it means.
I actually have something like a little news thing to talk about.
Okay. Can I get my last piece of news and then you can go ahead?
Yes.
My last piece of news is short. The WWE, in addition to canceling their show in Atlanta, which I think I talked about Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So they canceled a show in Atlanta on the 16th, and then they canceled another show on August 8th in Gainesville. No reason has been given for why. Yeah, they're just being canceled. And
That's
I'm
weird.
wondering if it's just ticket sales. Um, but they're gonna have to figure, at least for the one that was supposed to happen in Atlanta, that's a SmackDown episode. So
Hmm.
they're gonna have to figure something out. Um, the August 8th show is just a super show, so that's not a big deal. But it does kind of beg the question for the Atlanta show. Like, you gotta go somewhere.
Yeah. They'll find somewhere. So
All right.
my little story is something that's been making the rounds a little bit over the weekend. So Chaotic Wrestling introduced the Pan-Optic Championship. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a belt with the LGBTQ flags on it. Now the reason it stirred up some controversy is because it's replacing the women's championship, and it's a title that all genders can go after, but it's replacing the women's championship. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they still have their men's championship.
Actually, I believe I read something somewhere that they um don't actually. I think all of their I let me look it up on Twitter.
Hmm.
Because this is where I saw it.
What I was just
Because I had the same reaction.
what I was unsure of was just if the men's championship was exclusive to men or if it was open to everyone.
Okay, let me see.
Because I heard both.
So yeah, because somebody said something along the lines of like, you took away a woman's title,
Hmm.
so men still have their title, but the women don't. Like, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Um, and Chaotic Wrestling said we don't have any men's titles anymore. Um, Davien, who I don't know who that is, but Davien was the first to make history in 2019 when she became a tag team champion, and I guess that is like the only other. Um, I guess that's the only other title that they have right now outside of the New England Championship and the Heavyweight Championship. But neither of those are gendered. So
Okay.
they happen to be held by men. But,
Hmm.
and Chaotic Wrestling is actually the place where um, our friend Aaron Rourke wrestles.
Yeah, I saw his tweet responding to this.
Um, but yeah, so they don't have any gender titles anymore, which I think is really awesome.
It's really good. Um, so all that backlash is kind of for nothing.
It's I had the same thought process immediately too, and that's why I went into the replies because I was like, is anybody else saying this or am I just crazy?
Hmm.
Um, and it was nice that that's like it's the first thing that you see too, when you look at the replies. So because I had the same reaction, I was like, but pretty sick.
Yeah. Um, I'm I gotta be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the design of the belt itself because those flags are not placed in like a good position. They're kind of just like smacked onto it. It's
Yeah,
yeah. It's not a
I'm sure.
pretty
Like,
belt.
well, I think it's really pretty because it's so colorful. And wrestling belts are not normally colorful.
Yeah.
Um, it's
It's an indie belt.
I'm sure that it will go through future iterations. I think it's a good concept for
Yeah.
sure. Um, don't know why they don't have the buy flag.
Mm. Ooh.
Won't say anything about that. Technically, the symbols in the middle have the buy flag colors, so
Mm.
fair enough.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's all the news we got.
Yeah.
matches and promos. We actually have to talk about the episode. All right.
Yeah.
So, as we all knew, John Cena was going to start this episode. We knew from last night. So we start off with Cena in the ring. He's hyped. Crowd is hyped. I was hyped going into this. I was happy to see John again. But he says, I see people still filing in. Come on. We have a young man turning 11 in the audience. That man was Karrion Kross, because it's also Karrion's birthday. I came here tonight to see you. Damn, I missed you. And I missed this. I love the confusion and the chaos. You're all loud and we are all here. The biggest superstar is the WWE Universe. Everyone here knows what I'm talking about. We're not just loud tonight. Tonight is deafening loud. Tonight is electric. Tonight is Monday Night Raw from Dallas, Texas. You just proved how loud you can get. Tonight is a team effort. I'm here to explain myself after a return last night at Money in the Bank. So I showed up and ruined the championship celebration of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was angry. Michael Cole was very excited. Pat McAfee still couldn't see me. That was great. That was a great line. Who brought me back to WWE? That one's a layup. It was you guys. Finally, we can come back and cheer together and boo together. Who brought me back? It was you. And it was Roman Reigns. That brings me to the what. I'm here for the Universal Championship. When? SummerSlam. Where? Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. Why? Because Roman Reigns is an asshole. I believe he needs to be knocked down a peg. This pathetic Roman Reigns experience has gone on long enough. Roman Reigns is an arrogant, self-absorbed, overhyped, overexposed, overbooked gimmick who's not as over as he says he is. That's coming from me. If you're good, you'll tell everybody. If you're great, they tell you. I'm telling you now, I'll be at SmackDown on Friday. Let's get down to business. And I think that's him officially being only on SmackDown now. Because this is probably like just to get people to watch Monday, and like because it's the day after his debut, people want to know. So.
And I think that this was kind of a Hail Mary for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's gonna put butts in the seat more than John Cena?
And it's so people could see Goldberg debut, see Keith Lee come back, see Nikki Ash's cash in, see Karrion Kross's debut.
I'm excited for SmackDown now.
I'm excited too. I'm excited for how NXT can recover from this. I'm excited for anything but Raw now. Then Riddle comes out and Cena says, wait. Dude, I finally get it. Bro. And then they go back with bros. They kind of fist bump or shake hands or whatever. And then we get Riddle and the Viking Raiders versus AJ Styles, Omos, and John Morrison. Why are we running back on this stuff? AJ and Omos and the Viking Raiders was not even like a long-term story that they could play out into a rematch next week. Why are we getting this again? The storyline is RK Bro for the titles. That's what they've been lining up to. Yeah.
I think something happened with Randy.
Randy being gone is very questionable. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Unless they're playing some weird fiend aspect. I doubt.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
It's very strange that Randy just sort of vanished randomly.
The only storyline I see the Fiend coming into play is John Cena and Roman. That's the only place I could see him fit. Because Crossing Riddle and The Fiend is not a good combination. That feud would not work in a million years. But yeah, I had this match. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do Ricochet. Because Ricochet and John have had like a feud.
Yeah, but
You'd think. I guess maybe because like his fighting style doesn't quite match up with the Viking Raiders.
and Riddle's a bigger draw.
Okay. So we get a shoulder tackle to Riddle from AJ and a kick to the chest of AJ, as well as a back body drop. Morrison gets in. He takes his shirt off, throws it at Riddle. We get a takedown into a shoulder lock on Morrison, and then Riddle fails the PK. Morrison kips up. He strikes Riddle. Finally gets stopped by a pump knee. And then a Saito suplex afterwards. Ivar gets in. Eric gets in. Ivar throws Morrison into a knee from Eric. Ivar gets back in. And hits Morrison with a body slam. Riddle gets in. AJ gets in. AJ comes in right into a kick from Riddle. Viking Raiders then go to attack Morrison, who's still in the ring, who loads them out, goes for a Hurricane Rana off the ropes, but gets caught, and then sandwiched between the Viking Raiders. AJ gets thrown from the ring, however, onto the field of men by Omos, in like a little tag team tandem thing. We go to commercials and we come back. Omos is beating Riddle up. He stomps Riddle before whipping him into the buckles. AJ gets in and Riddle tries to bulldoze his way into the corner but has no luck. Morrison gets in off that. Gets some strikes to Riddle, who finally fights back, kicks John. But John, like, they're on the ground and John, like, reaches back and gets, like, an inverted chin lock on Riddle. Very weird. Very desperate looking move.
Mm-hmm.
But also a very John Morrison move, so not shocked. So Riddle gets free of this, hits Morrison with a ripcord knee. AJ lifts Riddle over his shoulders, and Riddle lands on his feet. He goes and jumps over AJ. He gets Eric in. There's some strikes to AJ before planting him into the ground. We get a hip toss and a knee to the chin of AJ, but AJ turns it around with a Pele kick. John gets in, and Ivar gets in. We get a strike to the stomach of Ivar. John goes for the spiral springboard crossbody, but Ivar avoids it. He clotheslines John, then cannonballs onto him. Ivar goes for an over the moonsault, but Morrison moves out of the way. Some knees connect with Ivar. We set up for a Starship Pain, but Ivar rolls away from that. Riddle then hits Omos with the dripstick. And Omos thinks it was The Miz, because The Miz was right behind him.
And he passed the dripstick off to The Miz.
Right. So Omos basically loses his shit, tosses Morrison into the ring. AJ does his best to, like, stop Omos from beating Miz up. And in the meantime, the Viking Raiders get their tandem offense, the Viking Express, or if you're Corey Graves, the Viking Experience.
No, it was Jimmy Smith that called it that. I remember that high-pitched voice.
All right. But yeah, Morrison gets slapped into the ground and loses.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Viking Raiders have a chance at the titles again, because how many repeat matches do you think Raw can get away with before, like, people just stop coming all together because they've seen it?
Also, just announced for Fyter Fest Night 2 was Frankie Kazarian versus Luke Gallows.
Yes!
So maybe they'll probably tie in Jay Wyatt and all that, maybe. Because Kaz is supposed to go to Impact. We'll see. But after that, we had a little shot of Riker backstage. He said, "Wait till you see what I do to Elias tonight." Elias is in the ring. He starts doing his normal intro thing. which I was excited to see in front of a crowd. The crowd's reception of it, they seemed very dry to it. Riker interrupts. Oh, yeah, he interrupts. He says, "I'm gonna interrupt you." You already did, big guy. You already did, Buster. People were sick and tired of you introducing yourself over and over. After tonight, we'll never hear the words, "Hello, I'm Elias," ever again. Doubtful. And then we have an orchestra of destruction, or a symphony of destruction with them that was not good. It was very lame. The crowd was not into it at all. And I'm sure you're not going to want to talk about it.
The only thing I'm gonna say is that Elias deserves so much more than he's getting.
He does. He does. He really does. And he, for being the music guy, he has not had much luck in these Symphony of Destruction matches at all. You would think it would be like his forte. I mean, even the guitar on the pole match he had with Jeff Hardy, he lost that, I think.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, the crowd hated Riker. They weren't necessarily over on Elias either, but more so than Riker. After that, we had Mansoor and Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce backstage. Mustafa walks in, and Pearce says, "We've been talking about your request to be a tag team." And Mustafa said, "I didn't make a request." Mansoor then says, "Every time you've been right. You can teach me a lesson here." Pearce says, "Are we scheduling a match or what?" Mustafa says, "Just this one time, and you better not screw it up." Sheamus then walks in and says, "Why do I have to face Humberto again tonight? I beat him last week." Pearce says, "Don't tell me you're proud of that. You attacked him backstage." Sheamus said, "How do you know he didn't attack me?" Sonya says, "The only way to settle this is a fair opportunity to earn a championship match." Sheamus says, "If that's what you want, that's what you'll get. Don't be surprised if he leaves the match in one of these masks." And then we get Charlotte Flair's title coronation. The crowd was not into this either, which you would think they would have learned after last night. She said, "This feels good. I am so proud to be standing here as new Raw Women's Champion," for a couple hours. "So the last year and a half hasn't been kind to us. Beef from adversity comes opportunity. I am the opportunity. That all of you have been begging for. And that Snake Rhea is an opportunist. I don't need to take a page out of anyone's book. I created the book. Rhea Ripley can do as many moves of mine as she wants. She will never measure up to the original. Look up hashtag Charlotte Flair." And before she can explain why she said that, the crowd starts chanting Becky. Like, it's fucking... Why are people chanting Becky? I get, like, Charlotte and Becky best friends or whatever, but, like, Becky has nothing to do with this. Nothing.
It's just disrespectful.
Yeah. It's one thing if they're, like, chanting Rhea, or they're chanting, fucking... It's like the CM Punk chants again.
Yeah, the thing is it's just like... What we forget, on what seems like a daily basis, is that these are also people. And, like, yeah, they're probably used to, like, a certain amount of disrespect, especially if they're normally heels. But, like, they're doing this and they're sacrificing their bodies for your entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just be relatively decent.
Yeah, but Charlotte goes with it, and she says, yes, Becky's home breastfeeding while I am dominating the division. So, you look up hashtag Charlotte Flair, you would not believe the outpouring of congratulatory tweets and emails when I won. You want to know what that makes me? One-time Divas Champion, last one. 5-time SmackDown Women's Champion, and now 5-time Raw Women's Champion. The only 11-time Women's Champion in the history of WWE. So Rhea had her opportunity. I beat her last night. I could beat her any night. Rhea Ripley comes out. Charlotte says, I have your title. Rhea says, okay. Charlotte says, you've got fans, because people are actually cheering for Rhea. Rhea said, if you think you can beat me any night of the week, why not tonight? Charlotte says, Rhea, you are in no condition after the damage I did to your knee. You were whining in the corner about your knee. I'll decline. Adam Pearce and Sonya come out. Hold on, Charlotte. Sonya says, first of all, congrats on becoming 11-time women's champion. That is truly an incredible accomplishment. I think you just said you could beat Rhea any night of the week. Pearce says, if Rhea's up for the challenge, then I think you should be too. Tonight in Dallas, you will face each other in a rematch. And these are also... Sonya was the one who was on SmackDown pushing for different matches. The Street Profits lost their title. They didn't get a rematch. They pushed for other challengers.
Raw Sonya and SmackDown Sonya are two different women, actually.
Seems like it. And then Charlotte just starts attacking Rhea's knee. The injured one. Then right after that, for some reason, we get another rematch. Natalya and Tamina versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
Yeah. I was dying when this came on. However, Nia takes Tamina off the apron. Nia also, by the way, new hairstyle, rocking her natural hair, I believe. Which made me think that, and for reasons that will become clear towards the end of this, it kind of made me think that they were going to have her split off from Shayna in this match, because sometimes, like, the new hairstyle kind of symbolizes, like, fuck you, new chapter. You know? Mm-hmm. But no, I guess this was just a choice that Nia made today. So, Nia takes Tamina off the apron. Simone drops her into the barricade. We get a pump knee to Natty from Shayna, who are the two legal women at the time. Nia gets in. She splashes Natalya. Shayna gets back in, hits another pump knee strike. Starts twisting the arm of Natalya before stomping on, like, her hand, I think. Nia gets back in, tosses Natalya into the corner. We get some short arm clotheslines after dodging Nia and sending her into the post, and then a discus lariat. Shayna gets in, Tamina gets in. Natalya German suplexes Shayna, and Tamina goes and attempts to super kick Shayna, but instead Shayna kind of gets out of the way, and Tamina super kicks Nia. We then get a spinebuster to Shayna. Tamina goes up for the Superfly Splash, which the crowd was actually very excited about, and I love watching people get excited about Tamina, because it's what she deserves. But as she does this, Reginald distracts. Shayna then kicks Natalya in the head. We get a super kick to Shayna from Tamina. However, for Natalya and Tamina to win. And then Shayna's standing in the ring and she's like, this is fucking stupid. Reginald's fucking, like, ruining my life, basically. It's either me or him. And this was where I was like, okay, so we're breaking up another fucking tag team. Fantastic.
And the crowd was so behind Shayna. Like, Shayna was so over with that crowd for some reason.
Because I think the crowd agreed with us.
Yeah.
But so, like, Nia, like, kind of, like, takes Reginald's side and, like, looks at him, like, nods and says something, like, caring, I guess. And then headbutts the shit out of him.
He's like, I'm gonna headbutt you, take the spot.
And Reginald's like, okay.
He was like,
so
wait, what?
I'm really excited about this, actually. This kind of gives me, like, a new fire for Shayna and Nia, because, like...
We'll see.
Well, I guess it's just the fact that Nia We went from the two of them fucking hating each other's guts to Nia choosing Shayna over someone else.
Yeah, we can't exactly afford to break up another women's tag team right now.
But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah. Also, they've technically broken up another one, Asuka and Naomi.
I don't count that in my head. That was a desperation tag team.
Well, now we have Natty and Tamina, Shayna and Nia, Nox and Shotzi. Are there any more? Is that it? Three. Three women's tag teams.
Well, now Nia and Shayna are suddenly done with Alexa Bliss and moving on, so they're back to tag team shit now.
Yeah.
It's just that Natty and Tamina have to work double duty, and it fucking sucks for them.
I mean, the women's tag team champions have always been working double duty. I mean, Bailey and Sasha were working triple duty because they were on NXT too.
Oh my god.
They were the workhorses when they were champs.
And then when Bailey had both belts, like, she was fucking all over the place. God bless Sasha and Bailey.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss them so much. Especially Bailey. Bailey's just unfortunate how she's out. Miriam said, don't forget Alexa and Lily. We'll get to the travesty that is another surprise return. When Sean Ross Sapp said there was a surprise return, did he mean Lily?
Piper and Eva.
Oh. Oh.
I choked on my spit on my realization.
No, that's just your allergic reaction to Eva Marie. So after that match, or after Nia turned on Reginald, they walk out. The Akira Tozawa being chased by the 24/7 title group runs out. Reggie attacks Tozawa, pins him, and becomes 24/7 champion. So that little graphic down there has to change. Also, has to change Rhea Ripley to Charlotte Flair. But yeah, Reginald is the 24/7 champion. So that's fun. That's great for him. Glad he's being utilized. At least one of Timothy Thatcher's students ended up being a champion.
I guess. I mean, Tyler Rust counts. He's gonna be there soon.
He's not a champion yet. He's not gonna be. Roddy's gonna be the champion.
But Tyler is he's teaming with Roddy.
I hate to break it to you and Miriam, but Tyler Rust is in that group so that he can eat the pins while Roddy works his way up.
That is not true.
It's how.
It's literally the least true thing that you could have possibly said.
Watch tomorrow against Kushida and Bobby.
I can't believe I have to break up with you live on air, but aww. You're so wrong. You're absolutely not correct.
I don't want to be right. I don't want to be.
Well, you seem very confident in your words.
Because it seems like Rust needed Roddy to distract for him. They specifically called him the protege.
Right, and the protege sooner or later outranks the master.
Yeah, a couple of years from now.
Oh, stop it. You're gonna be eating your words when Tyler Rust has some sort of belt around his fucking waist.
Yeah,
I'll make him one.
It'll be the belts to his pants.
You don't have to be mean. You could just be nice. It costs $0.00.
I would hope he'd wear a belt with his pants.
Some people wear pants that just fit them.
And those people are demons in society who with.
I've literally never worn a belt with my pants. It's that concept is so foreign to me.
Not everyone can have ideal human bodies.
That's a different conversation. Back to wrestling.
All right, so
My pants are too small, actually.
good
Cheers.
to know.
Darling.
So we then have Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo, because instead of giving them title match, they needed to give Humberto a #1 contender match.
You know what? I get why they did this now.
Well, like, why do you think they did this?
To put Damien over as the next guy.
Right, but they could have, if they wanted to. Well, they could have just had this a title match, had Humberto lost, and still had Damien get over as the next guy. Or they could have had an actual #1 contenders match and had Humberto fight someone else, like Ricochet.
Would have fought Damien.
No, I wouldn't have had him fight Damien. Because Damien's the guy sticking up for Humberto. But I don't know why it's like a trend lately. Because in the past week, they've had 3 matches where it's a #1 contender match, but the contender's fighting the champion. You had Shotzi and Knox versus Natty and Tamina. You had this match, and then you have Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley. Why not have separate matches? I don't get it.
I don't know. I really don't. It's so goofy.
It is. It really is. But yeah, so Sheamus versus Humberto.
Yes. So Humberto gets an early start. He dumps Shamu.
Shame you.
Let me try that again. Because in my notes I refer to him as Shamu. I don't think it's nice, but... So he dumps Sheamus on his back and then stomps on him until Sheamus rolls out. We get a dropkick through the ropes to Sheamus, and then Humberto dives out onto him. Sheamus, however, gets back in, tries to suplex Humberto into the ring without much luck, like over the ropes. Humberto then hangs Shea up on the ropes. It's a flying crossbody. Damien is watching the match at this point from backstage. There's a boot to the chest of Sheamus, and then Humberto starts attacking the face mask of Sheamus and sends Sheamus over the top rope. We then get double axe handles to Carrillo before Sheamus powerbombs him into the apron. There's a backbreaker to Humberto, and then a Glasgow smile or a Dublin smile. I always heard it referred to as Glasgow smile, but whatever. After the Glasgow smile, we get 10 beats of the bottom and a punch the spine of Carrillo. Carrillo then bites Sheamus's fingers as Sheamus goes for another Glasgow smile and sort of like arm drags Sheamus, like with his mouth. It was goofy, but like it was funny to me. He hits an enziguri to Sheamus, and then a boot goes into Carrillo's chest as Sheamus backs into the corner. There's a Super Rana to Sheamus off the top rope. We get a drop kick before Humberto follows Sheamus out of the ring by diving out onto him and sending him over the announce desk. Carrillo then goes back in the ring with Sheamus. He goes up top with a missile drop kick down to Sheamus. Sheamus then headbutts Carrillo and Brogue kicks him to the ground to win. So Humberto will, after all this time, not be the next challenger. It will be probably Damien. Which, you know what? Give Damien something to fucking do. Why not?
Or give us a triple threat. Have Humberto be mad and say that he doesn't need Damien to stick up for him. He's a man. He can handle himself. And it's the Leon Ruff situation. Damian Priest could kind of fall into this habit of sticking up for the small guys, ultimately for them to just not need it. I could see that working out. And then Damian
Maybe.
wins.
Yeah. I definitely think he is the next United States champion. Wow, really forgot what belt we were talking about.
And then they could have Sheamus go for the WWE championship. That would be nice. Or the 24/7 champion, whichever comes first. Anyway, we then have Bobby Lashley's open challenge, which for some reason the crowd was not behind. Why was the crowd not behind this? I didn't get it. So Bobby starts off by saying, "Last night I did all the talking I need to do in this ring when I destroyed Kofi Kingston. No more talking. P, tell them what's up." MVP says, "Aren't you all so lucky to be here live tonight to bear witness to the almighty WWE champion Bobby Lashley? Wait a minute. This is Dallas, right? Home of the Cowboys? So I understand why you reacted this way to seeing a champion. It's been decades since you've seen a winner. Before we get to business at hand," also that was a great line, Bobby made a statement at the expense of Kofi Kingston. "Kofi said some very harsh things to myself and the champ. He said the champ lost his edge." No, that's SmackDown. "Kofi was right. The champ lost his edge." Once again, that's SmackDown. "Kofi didn't realize his words lit an inferno in the heart of the champion. Anyone who stands in this ring and challenges Bobby faces utter annihilation and decimation. I feel sorry for the WWE roster. That window of vulnerability is closed forever. Nobody will take this title. No more women, no more champagne. As Bobby put it, no more bullshit. We are back to business." So who's gonna be the one to accept the open challenge? Wait a little bit. Nobody comes out. It's a little thing. And then Keith Lee comes out. It's been so long. It's been so
However,
long.
when they said that we saw him in January, I was like, that it feels like we haven't seen him since like January 2019.
Here's a little fun fact for you. He's had 5 matches this year. This is his 5th, so he had 4 before this. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Seems fake, but sure.
So yeah, we have Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee, where if Keith wins, he's the #1 contender for the title. Again, they could have just made it a title match.
And the thing is that I was like, you said, "Oh my god, it'd be so stupid if like Keith loses his return match." And I said, "Yeah, but I also don't really know how they're gonna like work this because you don't want Keith pinning the champ, but you don't want Keith losing because that's kind of a fuck you."
Oh, well, would you know?
And you said, "Well, maybe they'll think of something creative like the New Day coming out and like helping Keith somehow, so it's not a clean win." And I said, maybe. And then WWE said, "Actually, that would require creative skill, and we don't have that." So,
Which is all the reason why they should have made this a title match, so they could have had the excuse of Keith cracking under pressure. Something to just throw on commentary.
anyway, let's dive in. We get a hard right hook to Lee and then a series of forearms and elbows. Keith ends that by ramming Lashley into the buckles. We get a back elbow to Bobby and a sick fucking little crossbody to Lashley. He nearly gets the spirit bomb, but Lashley fights down. It's the flatliner instead. Spears Lee into the corner. Lashley then clotheslines Lee out of the ring. Follows him. Goes to lift him on his shoulders so he can smack him into the post. Cannot do that. Can't really get under him. And Lee shoves Lashley into the post himself. which I think cracked his head open a little bit because I heard that he was bleeding. And 9 times out of 10, when Bobby's bleeding, it's probably because he smacked his head into the post. Because he tends to do that on the regular. Um, um, MVP then distracts Keith. Um, as Keith's going to get back into the ring, Lashley bumps him off the apron. We get a massive spear to Lee ringside, and then Lashley sets up for the full Lashley, but he can't quite manage it with the size of Keith. Keith powers out of the fucking full Lashley. Like, God fucking. He slams Lashley away. Lashley still manages to fucking powerbomb Keith Lee and then hits him with the spear, and Keith Lee loses. And the entire time I was sitting there, I was like, how's Keith gonna mount a comeback from this?
Oh, but he's not. Which is like, this match would have been fine if it was a title match. Like Keith losing would have been fine because title matches are supposed to be the crux of somebody climbing the hill. You either fall or you rise over. So it would be normal to have fallen here. Like when Jungle Boy fought Kenny Omega. Jungle Boy didn't fall when he lost to Kenny in the title match. But if he lost in like qualifier for the title match,
yeah,
it would have been worse. Ugh. But then right after the match, Goldberg comes out, and I don't know if you noticed this, but when Goldberg was coming out, Bobby Lashley, the camera cuts right to him. He says, "Motherfucker." And
which,
then,
to be fair, me too, buddy.
And then the camera came back to him at another point. And he said, "Fuck."
literally, when I found out Goldberg was coming to Raw, I was like, same, absolutely same.
But okay, so I got some bones. I got some bones to pick. You didn't need to bring back Goldberg. You brought back Goldberg just for the sake of matching Cena. That is it. That's they wanted that star power. Okay, so bring him back. But remember that one I think it was SummerSlam. Another SummerSlam where Goldberg came back, fought Dolph Ziggler. We had that match.
That was a fantastic match. I was talking about this earlier.
Because it didn't take away from the actual main event. And having Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley will take away from the John Cena Roman Reigns main event. If they had built up Keith Lee, which they wouldn't have needed to do that much, you could have Bobby versus Keith at SummerSlam have the same effect, and it would still be just as good. Everything would work out. Have Goldberg fight Drew McIntyre again, or have Goldberg fight Sheamus. Have Goldberg fight whoever the fuck. Damian Priest. It doesn't matter. Have him fight John Morrison. That would be a good match.
I mean, I made this fucking same ass speech when Drew fought Goldberg. What was it, earlier this year?
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was like the first show of the year, I think.
Yeah.
It's just fucking stupid. And you know why it's stupid? Because there's a million people on the fucking roster that deserve a chance. That aren't getting the chance because we're putting Goldberg back in. And this happens constantly. Goldberg comes in, assumes that he gets the next spot because he's Goldberg. And that's his thing. And the wrestlers that we're actually stuck with on a day-to-day basis get nothing. And it's just, God.
And meanwhile, again, you could just have Keith Lee fill the spot. If the goal is for Big E to cash in at SummerSlam, from a weakened Bobby Lashley, you can have that with Keith Lee. If there's no excuse for why you need to have Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg and not Keith Lee. The stars were already lined up. You started it already. You started it when Keith Lee came out. That was your SummerSlam match right there. And also would have been amazing for yet another WWE championship feud to have been between two African American men.
Yeah. They said, well, we just did that with Kofi, so we
Yeah,
can't do
we're
that
only
again.
allowed one of those per year.
Whatever. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up. If you want to hear my full rant, just watch the fucking Legends Night episode of this podcast. I probably start talking about it somewhere towards the end.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that tonight because I don't have the energy. And Goldberg does not deserve my energy whatsoever. But Bobby versus Keith would have been so fucking sick.
I mean,
sick.
What we got today was fantastic.
Yeah,
But watch. Everyone write this down. And take note of this prediction that I'm gonna make. They're gonna make SummerSlam a triple threat between Bobby, Goldberg, and Keith Lee so that Keith can eat the pin for Goldberg. Or Bobby.
Sure, buddy. Alright.
That I can almost guarantee, and then that will leave the perfect opening for Big E to cash in. Have another heist of the century.
Can I just say, they've been advertising SummerSlam for so long since I started saying that they were going to be selling tickets that I keep forgetting that it's literally in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
It does not register to me.
Yeah. Which is why you could have just started building up Keith versus Bobby today. Oh, anyway. Remember when AJ Styles was champion and he was like fighting like Shinsuke? And Kofi was champion. He was fighting like Kevin Owens. People who aren't like legends and hadn't had 15,000 opportunities by that point. People who were lower on in the tiers before.
Yeah.
Lower on the card. Just annoying. Anyway, so we then go to Bobby and MVP backstage in an interview. MVP says, "Well, Goldberg just did. It was disrespectful, and we won't even dignify it with a response." Then we go to Jinder Mahal.
Not wrong.
Yeah, MVP is the voice of the people right now. We then get Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky in the ring. Jinder says, "It's my birthday." It's also carrying crosses. Drew McIntyre is not Mr. Money in the Bank. He took away opportunities from me. As a believer in karma, it always comes around. I can buy another motorcycle, but Drew, you will never have a title opportunity as long as Bobby Lashley is champion. Please join along as Shanky sings the modern day Maharaja happy birthday. Shanky then sings, and he has a nice singing voice. Then Drew attacks Jinder from behind with a chair. Smashes Shanky with the chair repeatedly. He takes his shirt off and grabs yet another chair and continues going after Shanky. Shanky was fucking beaten up. Damn.
Yeah. Wasn't pretty at all.
Reason my laptop's not charging right now.
Oh, my phone did that just the other day. Yesterday.
I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Yeah. What's with the charger? Um, we then get a video package for Karrion Kross. His voiceover says, "In the end, everyone pays the toll. Doomsday is coming. God help the obstacles in my path. Tick tock." And then Karrion Kross comes out for his debut match against Jeff Hardy. And can I just say, if the goal for this is for Jeff to get a push, that's fine. But they could have had him fight anyone else. Have him fight Bronson Reed. Bring up Bronson Reed right now. Like, literally anyone.
I'm torn. Because Jeff Hardy deserves a win.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hardy deserved this.
But not on Karrion.
Right. And when we say not on Karrion, it is not because we're like, Karrion deserves so much better.
No.
It's just that, like, logistically, it should not have been Karrion.
If you want consistent booking, if Vince wants consistency between his 3 brands, you need to, like, you can't book matches like this. You can't. I get he doesn't give a shit about NXT, but, like, it's still WWE product. Anyway,
Yeah.
talk about this minute 41-second match.
Sure. So there's a massive shoulder tackle before Karrion stomps Jeff. I call him KK in my notes, and it just reminds me of my sister's nickname when she was a child, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. So Karrion stomps Jeff, hits a Saito suplex, and then another Saito suplex. Jeff sends Karrion into the post, hits a twist of fate, goes up top, goes to Swanton, on to nothing because Karrion Kross moved away. Karrion wants that last, like, stupid fucking finisher that he's got. The fucking, I don't know, Fists of Fury or some shit. Something stupid.
Elbow?
Yeah. But Hardy evades it, power bombs Karrion off the top rope, and gets a dirty pin to win. Which, you know, dirty pin, so, like, not a clean finish. I guess that kind of helps Karrion's case, but, like...
So one dirty pin is greater than Pete Dunne, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly. Who else was in that match? Is that all of them?
Pete,
Fatal
Johnny,
Five-Way.
Kyle, Adam.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
So one dirty pin was all it took. All it fucking took. And then
They should have told those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
All they needed to do.
If anything, Johnny should have been able to do it.
You'd think.
Yeah. Or Pete.
I guess Jeff's just more conniving than Johnny is.
Yeah.
Which was also weird to me because Jeff's a face and he got the dirty pin, which isn't really a face move. Oh.
Imagine they're turning Karrion face.
Also, can we discuss no Scarlet? Which means Karrion's going to be the most boring piece of shit. Like, he was boring to begin with, but now he's going to be even more boring.
And they made his walkout so much lamer. It didn't have the whole mist and everything, and it wasn't
black and white.
Out. Yeah. It was so lame. Oh my god. Oh my god. And Scarlet is gonna fucking thrive on the main roster. I can guarantee it. But after the match, Karrion is asked by Kevin in the ring for some reason. He says that Jeff Hardy just made the biggest mistake of his life. In the end, everyone will fall and pray. And then we get Alexa's playground. She said, "I'm a little sore today, but we have a special guest. Welcome back, Lily. Fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. Shit. Now I know last time things got out of hand, but Lily promises to be on her best behavior." Eva Marie and Dewdrop walk in. Eva says, "Remember when Dewdrop tossed you around? And you're ignoring me." Bliss says, "Oh, hi, Dewdrop." And they laugh about the name Dewdrop for a second. And Eva says, "No, don't do that." And Bliss says, "Look, you're here." And that was all of our reactions to Eva walking in.
For a full fucking second, I was like, God damn it, Alexa Bliss, you get me. And then I came back to reality. I was like, fuck, I
Again,
slipped up.
say what you will about Bliss and the character and everything. Bliss is at least putting the most into the acting and the performance.
She's having fun.
Yeah.
Good for fucking her. I fucking can't stand it.
She is making the best out of this. She really is. She said it was a bad idea to say anything bad to Lily. Eva says, you mean like if I said Dewdrop should toss Lily in the trash like she deserves? And like Alexa Bliss says, for your sake, I hope you don't. I don't want to put her in timeout again so soon. But what if we put Dewdrop in timeout so we can see what Eva Marie can do without anyone's help? Eva says, do you know what I'm capable of on my own? At that point I said, underacting. There's no room in the evolution. Then on her way out, she falls. She just trips over her own leg.
It was. I wish that this camera could capture all of me so that I could reenact it. But she straight up just like goes like, doo-doo.
Yeah.
I was like,
Alexa Bliss tried to cover for it.
What the fuck are you doing?
Alexa tried to cover for it by saying, oh, I didn't mean to put that there. But there was nothing there.
Well, like, the whole point is that, like, she tripped her with her mental powers. But because Eva Marie can't fucking act to save her life, she fucking made it look like it was a fuck up. It's just... Also, I don't like to be this person, but the way they dressed Dewdrop today... Sorry, I didn't mean to slip up like that. The way they dressed Piper today... It was a choice. It was a bad choice. It was a choice.
I thought she wasn't that bad. Because the way she always dresses in, like, photo shoots and stuff. She dresses, like, really nice. I like the nice jackets and everything.
I know she dresses really nice. That's why tonight I was like...
I kind of forget what she was dressed
like. It was, like, the same, like, polka dot vibe. But I think it was, like, a romper. With, like, a big... Like, the white denim jacket and, like, the stockings, and it was just a lot going on. And normally she's very, like... I guess I'm just used to Piper Niven, like, with, like, the fucking
denim
jacket and, like... Maybe I'm just missing her too much.
Yeah, you definitely are. Well, I cannot wait to see the crowd's reaction to Eva Marie wrestling. Cannot wait.
Yeah, that's I think that's gonna be a crickets moment.
There's not even any niche appeal to Eva. Like, I could get somebody. I can get like the niche people cheering for Riker, like the Hulk Hogan fans would cheer for him. The Hulk Hogan fans that are blinded, that are literally blind, would probably cheer for him.
But the other thing too is just like she made a comment saying, I want to be booed out of the stadium. Like, I want people to hate me that much. And I was like, baby girl, you are not connecting on any level. I don't hate you. I just don't want to see you.
Yeah. And she's going to get what chanted? She's like, if somebody like Cena and MVP are getting what chants, you 100% will. And
yeah,
as much as I hate the what chants, God. She's not good with promos.
Nothing is happening here. Nothing is happening. It's fucking horrifying.
Yeah. So right after that, we then go into Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair in a rematch for the Raw Women's Championship to end the show.
So Rhea hits a sidewalk slam on Charlotte. There's a big boot to the midsection of Rhea before Charlotte whips her into the corner. Rhea dodges Charlotte, begins spearing her into that same corner. She then spears her through the ropes, she goes through the ropes to spear. Does not spear Charlotte through the ropes. It's an arm drag as Charlotte jumps over, or no. I fucked all that up. Charlotte spears Rhea through the ropes, and then goes up and over the ropes, arm drags Rhea on the way in. Charlotte then tosses Rhea into a corner again. Rhea drop kicks her. We get a headlock on Charlotte, but Charlotte starts sending knees to the arm of Rhea. We get some Flair chops. Charlotte tosses Rhea into a buckle, goes to suplex her, but Rhea rolls her up into a small package. Rhea then goes to vertical suplex Charlotte, but she can't. Charlotte won't allow it. Charlotte basically goes over. So she German suplexes her instead. We get another dropkick to the seated Flair at this point. Rhea is then whipped into the buckles again before being clotheslined from the ring. She goes to re-enter and Charlotte kicks her through the ropes. Ringside, Charlotte hits her with a sprinting chop block to the leg. And then we go to commercial, we come back. Charlotte's just wrenching on that fucking leg at this point, like bending it against the ropes. She wants the figure four, but Charlotte then gets like shoved by Rhea's foot into the buckles. Rhea suplexes Charlotte in spite of her leg hurting. And then they just start slugging it out. We get some short arm clotheslines to Charlotte before a mule kick to the stomach of Charlotte, and then a big old Northern Lights suplex. Never gets tired of that. I love that move. We then get a backbreaker to Rhea and a big boot to the face of Rhea. Charlotte moonsaults down onto the knees of Ripley. Ripley sets up for the figure four, gets it, and starts ripping on the ankle of Flair. Flair, however, turns it over. Rhea manages to get to the ropes. Flair then gets some Flair chops onto Rhea again. Hits her with a side kick. I don't know what the fuck that is, but Warrior Jimmy said it, so I wrote it down. So Rhea kicks Charlotte, hits her with a side kick, hits a successful riptide, but Charlotte gets her foot on the ropes during the cover, and then Flair fucks off. She grabs her title and she says adios, and Ripley follows her. Charlotte hits her with that title, and DQs the match.
Yes. And then Rhea gets Charlotte back in the ring, beats on her some more. And then at the top of the hour, Nikki Cross runs in with the Money in the Bank briefcase, cashes in, does a splash onto Charlotte, wins the Raw Women's Championship. And you know what? Good for her. She pitched an idea and ended up getting a title out of it.
Listen, I straight up thought the whole reason I didn't want Nikki to get the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase was because I didn't want Nikki to fucking cash in and embarrass herself. Because that's kind of what they were like gearing towards.
Yeah.
And she didn't. So I'm not fucking mad.
Yeah. And the fact that she went from being buried after the whole Bliss Fiend stuff to now being Raw Women's Champion. It's great. Good for her. So that concludes our recap of Raw. Can't wait to see Charlotte challenge Nikki A.S.H next week for the title. Alright, so best of the night.
Yeehaw, cowpoke.
If you have a question, or anybody you know has a question for us, for our questions segment, leave them in the comments.
Ask your dog.
If you're watching on YouTube, leave them in the comments. If you're watching on Twitch during the live show, leave it in the chat. We will get to it after the best of the night. Alright, so, promo of the night. I already know what I'm going to pick. Do you want me to go through it?
It's up to you. I leave the stuff up to you.
Okay. Completely disregarding the crowd, my pick is Bobby Lashley's Open Challenge. Keith Lee coming out was a huge pop from me. Great segment. Everything about it was fantastic except those goddamn what chants. It was a hard choice between that and John Cena's opener though.
I'll go with yeah. Um, Only just because John Cena's ended with Riddle, and I didn't care for that shit.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. Now, wrestler of the night. First up, we had the 6-man tag match, and I'm going with John Morrison. He was a lot of fun to watch. He's been killing it lately, and this match was no different. Then we had the Symphony of Destruction with Riker and Elias. I'm going with Elias because Riker is not good at all. Then we had Tamina and Natty versus Shayna and Nia. I'm going with Tamina. She looked mean. She looked great. She carried most of that match, which she's been doing a lot lately. Not to say Natty hasn't been putting in the work. Natty alone almost carried that Money in the Bank ladder match. But yeah, Tamina's the pick for that match. Then we had Humberto versus Sheamus. I'm going with Sheamus. I don't even know why. I don't remember any offense from Humberto. It was mostly Sheamus. And it had the least forgettable stuff.
I said I agree.
Then we had Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee. I'll go with Bobby. Bobby fucking killed it this match. Keith was great too, but Bobby facing a massive opponent like Keith was a nice change of pace from everyone else he's been fighting lately. Even somebody like Braun, he could still lock in the hurt lock, but Keith was always special because he was always somebody that hurt lock potential was questionable. But yeah, Bobby has just been such a delight to watch as of late. Then we had Jeff Hardy versus Karrion Kross. I'm going with Jeff just for the reason that he won. He embarrassed that little shit. And then finally, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I'm gonna give it to Charlotte. Charlotte's been putting in the fucking work lately. She deserves so much credit. Whether it's working the crowds, or carrying Rhea Ripley to having decent matches for once on the main roster. But my pick for Wrestler of the Night, it's not easy tonight. It was definitely no showcase of talent. But I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley.
Okay. I guess, yeah.
Who are you going to go with?
Um, uh, Maybe Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay, I can vibe with Charlotte. I'll go with you.
Just because Bobby's match was kind of a squash. And
no. I mean, Keith was like one of the first people to break out of the Hurt Lock. I wouldn't say it's a squash.
I mean, he broke out of it and then immediately got powerbombed.
Yeah, but I mean, yesterday was a squash match. This was better. All right. Well, I'll go with Charlotte anyway.
Okay, cool. I win.
Okay. So match of the night now. From least favorite to favorite. Also, thank you, Marion, for complimenting my shirt. Star Wars.
I love that shirt because it's like the Hawaiian vibe
Hmm.
does not match Star Wars, but I've never questioned it.
Yeah. It's also like kind of the baseball tee look to it. Like mixed with
It's just like
Hawaiian.
somebody was like, I like flowers and I like Star Wars, so we're gonna smack that shit together and baseball
You know
while we're
what?
at it.
You know what? Me, honestly, me as a person. All right, so match, least favorite match. What, did I really put this one? Oh, yeah, least favorite, Natty and Tamina versus Shayna and Nia. That was my least favorite match today. It was a rematch that did not need to happen. It was, it had the Reginald fucking interruption, and at this point, I am so sick of everything that, this set of rematches has given. And I'm glad we're finally moving out of it. But yeah. And that's a 3 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Up next is the Symphony of Destruction. The only reason I'm giving it a little higher is because you don't see symphonies of destruction very often. And there were some interesting spots. But
It's just
hmm.
it's frustrating because I always want them to be better than they are, and I just want Elias to win because like I want Symphony of Destruction to be like his fight pit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but it's the opposite.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, Riker aside, the match was not very good. Um, like yeah, like obvious aside,
Yeah.
it wasn't very good. There were some interesting spots, a couple like the piano stuff. Elias ramming headfirst into the gong was cool. That was really it. Riker is not good. It's such a shame that Elias is being held down like this. Next up, with a 5 out of 10, Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy. Only reason I gave it higher than the Symphony of Destruction was because it was hilarious in the moment. It was so funny. There was nothing interesting about this match at all besides Jeff just winning over Karrion.
Yeah. Jeff winning was such a shock that I was like, I'm having fun. Anyways.
Yeah. Next up, again 5 out of 10, is Sheamus versus Humberto. It wasn't a pretty decent match. Pretty decent.
Yeah.
Um, not great. Not horrible. Not bad. Um, it was decently fun. Then up next, 6 out of 10, Riddle, Eric, and Ivar versus Morrison, AJ, and Omos. It was a fun match. Had no reason to happen, but it was fun. Fun. The little distraction on Omos was kind of lame. Probably would have gotten
Yeah.
higher if that didn't happen. But it was
Yeah.
fun. It was nice to see Viking Raiders get another win in this scene. I know they racked up some wins when they returned, but it's nice to see them get some wins in higher up on the card. And then match of the night, in my opinion, with a 6 out of 10, Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee. Yeah, this was kind of just Bobby's to win. And the booking wasn't great on unlike the stipulation of the match, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Keith just being in it in general gave me a pop. There were some really great spots in this match, like Keith breaking out of the Hurt Lock, Keith leaping over Bobby, all stuff that made me genuinely miss Keith Lee over this span of time. Was it 6 months? I'm so glad he's back, and this match it was so fun for how short it was. So that's my match of the night.
I'm giving it to you only because I was also happy that Keith was back.
Mm,
And I was having fun for most of it.
yeah, there wasn't any competition at all. Like no match was fantastic today. No match was great even. But for this short amount of time that this was, it every minute was great. So run it back. Promo of the night: Bobby Lashley's Open Challenge. Wrestler of the night: Charlotte Flair. Match of the night: Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee.
Yeah.
So you want to answer some questions?
Yes.
We have Miriam in the chat who asked, "What's been your favorite song recently?" Going with non-wrestling question because it's Raw night and that's already tough enough on you guys. Favorite song lately? Oh man.
Ooh, let
Oh,
me open up my Spotify.
I'm gonna open up mine too, but I feel like I know what mine is. I've been
Ooh, okay.
listening. Oh, you go ahead
Okay.
if you have one.
Okay. Um, I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately. Um,
I would hope so.
I've really liked Mess It Up by Gracie Abrams, who is J.J. Abrams' daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, really good music. She's fucking so good. Um, but that's really fun. Her other song, 21, is really fun. And then I've been listening to a lot of Amy Shark.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like Baby Steps by her and then Psycho, which I think I actually shared with Miriam at some point. So,
Okay. If I had to pick one song as like my favorite song lately, it's probably Chosen Family. Not the original, the Rina Sawayama Chosen Family featuring Elton John. That that version is fantastic. But I've been listening to a lot of Gene Dawson. One of his songs, Policia, is great. He also has Power Freaks, which is a really great song. And then Genesis Owusu is fantastic.
also there's a song called Barcelona by Winnetka Bowling League featuring Sasha Sloan, and the Oliver Nelson mix.
Mhm,
It's so good because it's not a happy song, but the remix is such like a boppy little thing.
mhm.
You're just like, yes, I'm having fun. Then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, I'm sad, but I'm still dancing. Um, yeah, I mean, I try to always make a point of listening through my Discover Weekly on Mondays because 9 times out of 10, I find music that I want to write to.
Mhm.
Um, like I just found Safe Place by Cassidy King and Home to You by Sigrid. Very fun little beats. And I just found them because I was like sitting here doing my makeup and I was like,
Hmm. I
yeah.
have a whole playlist of like over 1,000 songs of just recommendations. And then I just go
I
through that and whatever I like, I add to another playlist. And what I don't like, I just take out.
I feel sad because I used to put out like mixes for whoever was interested in them on my Tumblr.
Mhm.
I haven't done it in so long because I just haven't been thinking. And I was thinking about it today and I was like, well, fuck. I need to find like 5 minutes to toss something together because I've got like 14 started
Mhm.
and it's not finished. So it's like, maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's what I'll do with my spare time
Okay.
if I ever get any.
Yeah. Might not happen for a while. All right, so Milam has a question on YouTube. After Roman, who would you want John Cena to fight?
Randy Orton.
Really?
Yeah, I
Well,
need it.
what's September? What pay-per-views in September normally? What was in September last year? Actually go through YouTube and see what podcast we put out.
Was that payback?
Was it? No, Payback? Oh, Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions. If they do that again, where every title's defended, hmm. We're talking someone on, just someone on SmackDown. Seth. I want Seth. He's definitely gonna get after Cena. Because he's probably gonna beat Edge at SummerSlam, ideally.
Okay.
If we're going between Raw and SmackDown, I would say AJ Styles. Omos to keep away the Usos. And then you could have AJ and Omos in a tag match against the Usos. AJ could kind of work both fields.
Yeah.
But if we're talking including NXT as well. We're including NXT. Walter.
Well, fair. I'd say if we're including NXT.
Pete Dunne, actually. I changed mine to Pete Dunne.
I heard that Pete Dunne shrugged at Samoa Joe last week. Glad I missed it.
Imagine with Pete if he's in the guillotine, like if Roman has him in the guillotine, he just does like the arm wrench from behind, so they're both in a fucking submission. It'll look so cool.
I think there's something to be said for a match with Johnny.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
could
think
see
we
that.
could get something good out of that.
Yeah. Before that, I would definitely want Johnny versus Seth first. That sounds like an amazing match. Wait, we're talking SmackDown. It's not Seth, it's Finn.
We're talking, yeah, I was gonna say if we're talking SmackDown and SmackDown alone, it would be Finn.
Yeah.
I agree.
Miriam also said, you know, Teoman's gimmick feels a little bit like Roman's, so Teoman versus Roman could be very interesting.
That's a really good point, actually.
I feel like I haven't seen enough of Teoman's wrestling to imagine what a match would be like, but seeing the two personalities conflict would be cool.
I definitely think that would be a good match wrestling wise.
Roman
It's
needs.
funny because when we watched it last week, I saw the promo with why am I blinking on his name?
Rohan Raju or something.
Yeah, Rohan.
I constantly forget his name.
I know. Hard with Impact. But with Rohan, and I was like, wait, there's parallels here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'd be really awesome. Maybe like Ultimate, who's the head of the table.
Yeah, maybe.
Except Teoman's is more like found family, which I think is cute.
Or just the whole Imperium versus Bloodline.
It is what we deserve.
Roman needs to fight a heel. He hasn't fought a heel yet, and I get he is a heel, so he's only gonna fight faces. But I feel like having him conflict, like kind of a gang war between the Bloodline.
Seth's probably up next, and Seth is not a face by any means.
We'll see what happens with Edge. Things can change. Card subject to change. And that's also implying that Roman beats Cena. Because Cena might win. And Seth beats. Or Big E will cash in on Cena and Roman, and that will give a face for Seth to go after.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I don't know. It's a weird kind of flow chart we can go with.
Yeah.
But definitely would love to see him face Finn.
Yeah, Finn would be such a good opponent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that about does it. That's all of our questions. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
I would. If you tuned in tonight, thank you so much. And if you tuned in the future, thank you so much. We will be live tomorrow night for the actually fun show, NXT, where we will get to see Tyler and Roddy fight Bobby and Kushida.
Mm-hmm.
And we please.
They also announced something else with Carrion tomorrow.
Yeah, I
Samoa
think it's gonna be
Joe.
Karrion and Johnny.
No, I think they said something with Joe and
Oh.
Carrion. Hope Joe
Oh,
just takes the belt from Carrion. He's like, you can't fucking have this. You attacked me.
maybe. But we will be live tomorrow night talking about all of that. And yep.
Yeah.
I'm blanking. Sorry.
Thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. Our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. We have all of our previous episodes on there. If you want to catch up on some wrestling. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show, twitch.tv/the Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And we will see you tomorrow for NXT. Have a great night, everyone.